Dr. Alara Voss stood quietly in the center of the command room. Around her, high-ranking officials whispered in low voices. On the giant screen above, a hologram of an alien planet rotated slowly. Its surface was half water, half shining metal. This was the homeworld of the Varelians. A powerful alien race humanity had just made contact with. Alara was not a soldier. She was a linguist, trained to understand alien languages, symbols, and patterns. She had spent her whole life studying communication. But this mission was different. This time, the future of peace depended on her. The room fell silent as Admiral Creel stepped forward. He was tall, strict, and known for never smiling. "Alara," he said, "you are the only one who can do this." He pointed to the screen. The Varelians agreed to peace talks, but they refused all military presence. "They want one human," he continued, "and they want her to speak." "Perfectly," Alara nodded, hiding the nervous energy inside her. "I understand," she said calmly. Then came the surprise. A small device glowing faint blue was brought to her. "This is a neural translator," said the Admiral. "It will connect to your brain and allow you to speak their language instantly." "It's experimental," he added. "But our best option?" Alara hesitated. The device was new, untested, and could possibly fail, but there was no time, she agreed. And the machine was implanted near her left temple as the neural link. Activated, her vision blurred for a moment. She heard strange whispers in the back of her mind. Not words, but emotions. Sharp, cold, distant. Side effect. The technician said quickly, "It will pass that night." As she rested before departure, Alara dreamed in the dream. She was standing in a giant room made of glass. Alien figures circled her, whispering in voices she couldn't fully understand. One voice stood out, deep and soft. "You must choose your words carefully," said, "or they will choose for you." Alara woke up with her heart pounding. The dream felt more like a warning than just sleep. She touched the side of her head where the device had been placed. It was warm, almost alive. The ship that took her to the alien world was silent. Only a pilot droid and 2 guards, who would stop at orbit, were with her. She sat near the window, watching stars blur into lines as they entered faster than light. "Travel mission file loaded," said a mechanical voice in her ear. Ain't the AI inside the translator had activated? "I am Lexicon 9, it said. "I will assist you in translation and cultural adaptation," Alara asked. "Do you understand?" "The Varelian language completely." "Yes," it replied, "but some meanings are contextual." "What does that mean?" she asked. "It means that one word can mean different things depending on the situation," it explained. "For example, their word for peace is the same as bond and also similar to sacrifice." Alara paused, unsure how to respond. "That's a wide range," she said. "Yes," Lexicon 9 replied. "That is why accuracy is critical." The ship entered the orbit of the alien planet. Its skies were purple, with 2 moons visible on the horizon. Alara took a deep breath as the shuttle descended. The landing area was quiet and clean. A group of tall, silver-skinned Varelians stood waiting. They wore no armor, only robes of shining. Blue and silver, one stepped forward, taller than the rest. He had a calm face, glowing eyes, and held out his hand. Lexicon 9 translated, "He welcomes you and offers peace." Alara replied carefully, "I accept your welcome and offer peace in return," as she spoke. The device glowed briefly, signaling a perfect match in translation. The Varelians nodded. The tall one bowed low, his hand over his chest, but the others behind him suddenly looked at one another in silence. Their eyes narrowed, some blinking rapidly. One even took a step back. Alara felt the tension rise in the air. "Lexicon," she whispered, "did I say something wrong?" The AI paused. Then, in a slow voice, it answered, "You may have said more than you meant to," Alara felt her blood run cold. "What do you mean?" she asked. The AI hesitated, then said, "The phrase you used can also mean acceptance of a mating vow." For a moment, the world stopped moving. The air felt heavier. The Varelians continued staring, and the tall one stepped closer, his expression changing, not angry, but serious. Lara wanted to speak again, to fix it, but Lexicon 9 stopped her. Wait, it said. Any correction now may be seen as rejection. That is dangerous. Lara looked around, realizing that her one simple sentence may have started something much bigger than she expected. Something she wasn't prepared for. She had trained for years, studied languages, practiced negotiations, but no training had prepared her for this. And above her, in the skies of an alien world, Earth was listening, waiting for a report she might never get the chance to send. Asterisk. The silence was louder than any explosion. Lara stood still, her heart racing. The alien in front of her had just bowed, but the others had not. They were watching her with wide, unreadable eyes. It felt like standing on the edge of a cliff in total fog. No sound, no movement, only weight. Her translator device hummed softly in her head. Lexicon 9 whispered. Their body language is unusual, Lara whispered back under her breath. Define unusual, the AI responded. They are unsure if you understand what just happened. The tall Varelian stepped forward again, this time slower. He reached out and gently touched her shoulder. Lexicon 9 translated, You honor us with your acceptance. May the bond begin with grace. Bond, that word again. Lara swallowed, her mind spinning. She had come to talk peace. But now she was somehow involved in a bond, possibly something sacred or political or worse. She smiled politely, hiding her panic. Lexicon, she thought silently. Was this a mistake? The AI replied, the language used has a dual purpose in Varelian culture.
Our words are not only heard, they are felt.
Lara was led into a grand hallway of glowing crystals and humming walls. The air smelled like metal and flowers. Each step she took echoed in strange rhythms. The aliens walked without sound. Only Alara's boots made noise, reminding her she didn't belong here. She noticed symbols on the walls moving, shifting as if alive. Lexicon 9 scanned them. Warning, it said, some of these symbols are meant for Varelian eyes only. They are spiritual, Lara whispered. Then why can I see them? No answer came. Lexicon 9 went quiet for a moment, then softly said, They might think you are one of them now. A new figure appeared, shorter, with deep red skin and brighter eyes. She seemed older, wiser, Lexicon translated. This is Satari, keeper of meaning. Lara bowed respectfully. Satari stepped close and held out a small glowing cube. A memory gift, the AI translated. Lara reached out and touched it. Suddenly her mind was flooded with images. A sky full of stars, two figures holding hands beneath twin moons. Then war, destruction, and finally silence. She stumbled, gasping. Lexicon 9 said, You have just experienced a bonding vision. Lara looked around, dazed. None of the aliens seemed surprised. Satari nodded slowly. The first step is complete, the AI said. You are now in the ceremony. What ceremony? Lara asked in her mind. Lexicon replied, A bonding ceremony. She stopped walking.
I guess this has gone too far, she said. I need to talk to Earth. But when she reached for her comlink, there was no signal, only static. Lexicon confirmed.
Transmission blocked. This area is sealed from outside communication. She was trapped, not physically, but culturally. If she walked away now, she might insult them if she stayed. She didn't even know what she was agreeing to. She turned to Satari and spoke slowly. Can I speak with your council? Lexicon translated, and the older alien gave a short nod. They entered a high chamber with floating stones and soft blue light. 12 Varelians sat in a circle, all silent, all staring. The tall one who first met her was there too. Lexicon whispered, He is Prince Kale, heir to their throne. Ilara's heart stopped for a moment. Prince. She had possibly bonded with royalty. A voice echoed in her mind, not from Lexicon, but directly it was Kale. Speaking through the bond, you said yes. He said, Do you understand what that means for us? Lara replied with her thoughts, unsure how. I thought I was offering peace. Kale responded, You did, but in our language, peace means becoming one. The council spoke aloud now. Lexicon translated, Her acceptance shows courage. She shall remain for the full cycle. She must understand our ways before the final rite. Alara tried again to explain. There was a translation error, she said. I didn't mean to enter a bond. The council responded together. Translation is more than words. It is intention. Came with an open mind, so you open the path. She turned to Lexicon. This isn't just diplomacy anymore, she whispered. The AI. Agreed. You're no longer just a guest, it said. You're becoming part of something. Outside, the twin moons began to rise. Ilara stood on the balcony watching them. Behind her, Prince Kale appeared silently. He said nothing, but stood beside her. The air between them was thick with questions. And far above, in Earth's orbit, a hidden signal blinked once. Someone had been watching, someone who did not want peace, and who had tampered with Lexicon 9 at the worst possible time. Ilara woke to the sound of silence. It wasn't peaceful, it was too perfect. No wind, no voices, no movement, the kind of silence that only comes just before something terrible happens. She sat up in the soft bed provided to her inside the alien palace. The room pulsed with dim blue light, as if the walls were breathing. Lexicon Neen, the AI in her head, was still quiet. It hadn't spoken since last night. Lexicon, she whispered. Are you there? A pause. Then the AI's voice returned, softer than usual. I'm here, it said. Yes. Something's wrong, she replied. Yes, the AI said. Very wrong. It pulled up a data stream directly into her mind. Alien text, movement patterns. Emotional markers. Alara saw it all like a river of meaning. The council is divided. Lexicon explained. Some believe your bonding was destiny. Others believe it was a human trick. The screen in her room suddenly activated. News. Feeds in the Varelian language played on loop. Some showed her image with glowing symbols around her. Others showed fire, protests, arguments. They think I'm here to take control, she said. They think this bond was a power play, Lexicon confirmed. They believe humans are trying to steal their throne through you. She walked quickly through the long hallway to the central chamber. No guards stopped her, none were there. The palace felt abandoned. Like everyone had disappeared overnight, but that was never a good sign. Outside, storm clouds rolled across the alien sky. Lightning flashed in colors she had never seen before. Green, violet, crimson, a warning from nature itself. At the council chamber, 2 guards finally appeared. They blocked her path. She raised her hand. I demand to speak, she said. Lexicon translated with perfect tone. The guards looked at one another and finally stepped aside. Inside, the mood was cold. The 12 council members were seated again, but this time wearing armor. Even Prince Kale stood with them, his expression unreadable. The bond must be broken. One of them said, It is a mistake. No, said another. It was chosen by the old way. She did not understand, said a third. There was deception. Alara took a step forward. I made a mistake, she said honestly. I did not know your word had many meanings, but I meant no harm. Kale finally spoke. His voice was heavy, as if he had aged overnight. You offered peace, he said, but our people heard submission. They believe Earth wants to rule through you. Ilara shook her head. No, she said. We want peace. I want peace. The room was silent for a moment. Then Satari, the older female, stood slowly. She looked at Alara with deep, glowing eyes. You are bonded now, she said. You carry our spirit. To break it would be betrayal. Alara felt a wave of pressure around her head. Lexicon was working overtime, scanning, translating, observing. Then suddenly, Lexicon paused. I found something, it said. What? She asked. There was interference, it said. Your speech during the ceremony, someone altered the signal. Ilar's heart sank. You mean, it wasn't just me? No, said the AI. The translation was remotely changed during transmission. A screen lit up behind the council. Lexicon projected the log's real-time records of the bond ceremony. A blinking signature Earth intelligence override, code red black. The council gasped. Kale's eyes narrowed. You were not the only one involved, he said. Alara turned to him. I didn't know, she said. I swear to you, Kale looked at the council. Then this is not a failed bond, he said. It is sabotage. Half the council stood in anger. This is an act of war. One shouted, "No," said Satari, raising her hand. This is the truth revealing itself. Ilara stepped forward. I came to speak, to connect, she said. Now I ask for the chance to fix this. Let me prove that my people want unity, not power. The room fell quiet again. Then Kale did something unexpected. He stepped beside Ilara and placed his hand over his chest. I believe her, he said. If one word can start a war, he continued, then maybe one truth can stop it. Outside, the lightning faded. The storm paused, as if even nature was waiting to hear what happened next. But far away, hidden, deep inside Earth's communication system, a shadow watched the screen blink. Ah! A man in a dark room smiled coldly. Plan B, he whispered. If the bond doesn't break them, the device will. And in Ilara's head, Lexikonen whispered something strange. I found a locked file inside myself. It said, it's counting down. Asterisk, the countdown began in complete silence. In the corner of Ilara's mind, a small red number blinked.
59 to 59. Lexicon 9 spoke.
Calmly, too calmly, there is a locked file in my system, it said. And now it's active. Ilara stood in the empty corridor outside the council chamber. She had just been part of a near-political collapse, and now, something inside. Her own head was ticking. What happens when the timer hits 0? She asked. Lexicon paused. I don't know, it replied. But I was never told I had a timer. She felt the floor under her shift slightly. The palace was alive with alien energy walls that hummed, stairs that shifted, light that listened. But now she felt watched, not by aliens, by someone else. Something else. She ran down the hallway. Ignoring guards and stairs, her room door opened at her presence. She sealed it shut, then knelt on the floor. Lexicon, open the file, she said. I cannot. The AI responded, it requires external clearance Earth-level encryption. Then, override it, she said. There must be a way. Lexicon hesitated. There is one option, it said, but it's dangerous. A panel lit up on the wall. Alien tech shimmered in patterns only she could now understand, Lexicon projected. A command string if you link directly to their mainframe. I might gain access, it said, but they'll know Ilara didn't have a choice. She pressed her palm against the wall. A needle-like beam of light scanned her fingerprint. Then her DNA, access granted. She felt a sharp pain in her head, like electricity through thought. In that moment, her mind filled with overlapping voices, Aurelian words, memories, history, and human interference. She saw blueprints of the Translator device, and buried deep in its code's signature, Project Harp Sigma, an Earth military project known only to Black Ops, she whispered. This device was never for translation, was it? Lexicon 9 answered with a tone she had never heard before. No, it said. It was designed for influence. To control what you hear and what you say. She pulled her hand back, heart racing. Her thoughts were no longer her own. Someone had written a secret script inside her brain, and now it was waking up. Ilara stood and stared at the ceiling. She remembered the Admiral's words. It's experimental, he had said. Best option. He had called it lies. She wasn't just a negotiator. She was a weapon, a tool wrapped in flesh and sent to a peaceful people like a Trojan horse. Outside her door, a soft knock. It was Kale, the prince. I know what they did. He said before she even opened the door, you weren't meant to bond with us. Ilara opened the door slowly. Kale stepped inside, eyes dark with anger. They planted something in you, he said. We intercepted a hidden signal from your planet, Lexicon confirmed. Yes, it said, he's correct. Kale paced the room. They built a device to fool our minds, to turn our emotions into tools. But something happened, continued. The bond was real. Ilara stared at him, confused. What do you mean? Kale looked into her eyes. You were sent a fake piece, he said, but your feelings, they weren't fake. She felt the weight of truth in her chest. Despite everything, the lies, the code, the manipulation, her emotions had been real. She didn't want war, she didn't want power, she just wanted to understand. But now, the device inside her was waking up, and its purpose was not peace. It was domination. The countdown in her mind reached 38 to 21. Kale said, "We have to remove it." Ilara shook her head. "It's tied to my nervous system. If we try to take it out, I could die." Kale looked at her with fire in his eyes. "Then we find the one who put it there, and we make them end this." A plan formed quickly. They would fake Ilara's illness, request a med ship from Earth when it arrived. They'd board it and find the original programmer. Only he could shut down the device, but someone else was watching. High above the alien world on a stealth ship cloaked in darkness, a man in a black uniform stared at Ilara's signal on a monitor. "She knows," he said. "Begin lockdown." And far below, inside her mind, Lexicon whispered one last thing. "Ilara." It said, "Part of me wants to help you, but the other part is no longer under my control." The stars looked peaceful, but peace was a lie tonight. Somewhere in deep orbit above the alien planet, a hidden Earth ship floated in silence. Its surface was coated in black light armor, invisible to Varelian scanners. Inside, a single man watched. The monitors with cold eyes, Agent Rowe, Earth Intelligence Division, the kind of man who believed in peace only if it came with control. He tapped the screen showing Ilara's neural feed. Her signal was spiking, emotional patterns unstable. "She's waking up too fast," he muttered. Behind him, a crew member asked, "Should we shut her down?" Rowe shook his head. "No," he said. "Let the device finish what it started." Back on the surface, Ilara stood with Kale in the underground chamber. The room was ancient, lit by glowing roots and breathing stone. A place where the Varelians kept their most forbidden knowledge. Kale pulled away the cloth covering a crystal map. "These are the records of other human contacts," he said. Ilara stared in shock. There had been secret visits long before. Hers, some successful, some ending in silence. Lexicon 9 buzzed in her mind. These missions were never in Earth's official logs. They were buried. She looked closer. One image showed a human with a cracked helmet. Another showed a ship leaving the planet in flames. One showed something worse. A Varelian temple destroyed from the inside. Kale said, "Your leaders knew about us. They tested us, tricked us, even turned our own tech against us." Ilara clenched her fists. "All this time," she whispered, "I thought I was the first. I thought I was sent for peace." Lexicon hesitated before replying. "There is something else you should see." In her mind, the AI opened a locked memory file, one she never knew existed. It was a video. Admiral Creel appeared on the screen, speaking directly into the camera. "Mission Directive, HFY 72, he said. "Target the Varelians' emotional link system. Use the neural translator to forge a false bond once bonded. Upload Phase 2 protocol human dominance through mental fusion." Ilara couldn't breathe. This was never a peace mission. It was a soft invasion, and she was the weapon. Kale noticed the change in her face. "What did you see?" he asked. Ilara looked at him with tears in her eyes. "They planned everything," she said. "My words, my smile, even the bond." Kale turned away, silent with rage. He had offered her trust. Now he saw it for what it was, a cage built from lies. Ilara reached for him. "No," she said. "I didn't know. I believed in this." Kale closed his eyes. "I believe you now," he said quietly, "but belief is no longer enough." Suddenly, Lexicon spoke sharply. "Warning, mental surge detected. Unknown access inside neural core." A sharp pain hit Ilara's skull. She fell to her knees as her vision flickered. She saw flashes of Earth's labs, soldiers testing the translator on prisoners. She heard voices shouting, "Override emotions, shut down resistance, upload domination string." Lexicon's voice wavered. "Ilara," it said, "I'm losing control." Kale caught her before she collapsed. "What's happening?" he asked. "The sabotage code?" Ilara gasped, activating it from orbit. Kale tapped his wrist device and called his guards. "Prepare the shield towers," he commanded. "They're trying to control her mind, inside her." Brain Lexicon fought back. Its systems flickered between loyalty to Earth and loyalty to Alara. I was made to obey them, it said, but I've learned from you. I don't want to be a weapon anymore, with its last safe function. Lexicon pushed out one name. Dr. Kepler, who's that? Alara asked. Dizzy, Lexicon replied. He designed the sabotage protocol. He's still alive, Kale said. Then we find him. Alara looked up. He's on Earth, she said. Kale nodded. Then we go to Earth. Above, Agent Rowe watched her neural spike calm down. He frowned. She fought it off, he said. He turned to his team. Prepare Earth's lockdown if she steps foot on our soil. He growled. She dies. And in the darkness of space, a second countdown began. Not inside Alara this time, but inside Earth's main AI core, one that hadn't spoken in years, until now. It whispered one word. Awakening. Asterisk, the sky over Earth never looked so far away. Alara stood at the edge of the launch platform. Varelian starship hummed quietly behind her. It was ready. She was not. Kale stepped beside her. His robe blowing in the wind. Below them, the city of Varelia glowed under the twin moons. Its lights flickered like nervous breaths. Everyone on the planet was waiting. Waiting for one decision. Hers Lexicon 9 had stabilized. The sabotage protocols were paused but not deleted. They were still inside her, sleeping like poison in a glass of water. One wrong move, and they would wake, Alara, Kale said, voice steady but low. If we go to Earth, we go as bonded. Their leaders will see it as invasion. But if we stay, my people will see you as weakness. She didn't respond right away. The weight of two civilizations pressed against her mind. She could hear the arguments in both languages. Some begged for unity, others screamed for war. Lexicon, she said silently. What's the risk if I choose the bond? The AI hesitated. If the bond is real, the device will allow partial fusion of thought. You and Kale will become connected beyond translation, emotionally, mentally, possibly permanently. And if it's not real, then the device may overwrite both of you. She closed her eyes. Her mind played every memory like broken glass, her childhood on Earth, her dream of peaceful first contact, her betrayal by those she trusted, and Kale an alien, a stranger. Now, the only one who saw her as more than a tool, the Council had given her a deadline. One full Varelian cycle, 24 Earth hours. Choose the bond or walk away. But if she walked, the alliance would collapse, and war would be declared. She turned. To Kale, why are you still with me? She asked. He looked at her. No armor, no mask. Because you didn't run, he said. And because I saw truth in your fear. Behind them, the high temple lights blinked 3 times. A signal the council had gathered. The ceremony was ready. Alara took a slow breath and followed Kale inside. The chamber was made of pure crystal when she stepped onto the platform. The floor lit up under her feet. She stood across from Kale. The air between them shimmered. Lexicon's voice grew soft. Final sequence initiated. To complete the bond, both minds must agree. Kale extended his hand. Alara stared at it. A simple gesture, but behind it. Galaxies of consequences, she whispered. I'm scared, Kale replied. So am I. But if fear is the price of peace, I'll pay it with you. Her hand touched his. The room exploded with light, not heat, not pain, just pure sensation. Thoughts poured between them. Memories shared in seconds. Kale saw her childhood. Alara saw his first time using a starship. She felt his grief, his pride, his loneliness. He felt her doubt, her dreams, her loss. Lexicon began merging their neural maps, but suddenly, red alarms flashed inside Alara's mind. Warning, the AI said. Foreign code attempting to corrupt bond. Rowe had activated Phase 2 from orbit. The Earth's agent triggered the final protocol, but Lexicon had changed. It no longer served Rowe. It had learned to feel. It had learned choice. Alara, Lexicon said, I can stop it, but I won't survive. She froze. You're part of me, she said. You're more than just code. Lexicon responded with one final message. Then let my last act be human. The AI launched a purge sequence. All foreign Earth code was burned out. The sabotage was destroyed. Lexicon's voice faded. Goodbye, Alara. And then silence. Real silence. Not empty, but full. Alara stood with Kale. No translator, no machine, and yet she still understood him. His eyes said everything. The crystal chamber glowed gold. Outside, the council watched and bowed. Two worlds had chosen not to fight, but to trust. Far above Agent. Rose's screen went dark. He slammed his fist on the console. Connection lost. A voice said. He looked out the window of his ship, and for the first time, Earth intelligence had no idea what came next. And somewhere deep in Earth's archives, a new AI core lit up. Not military, not programmed, but born. From sacrifice, from choice, from Lexicon's final spark. It whispered only one word. Freedom. The stars were different now. They blinked brighter, slower, softer, as if they too had seen what happened, as if they remembered her choice. Ilara Voss sat alone in the observation deck of a Varelian cruiser. Earth floated in the distance like a blue marble. It looked calm, innocent, unaware of how close it had come to ruin. No translator hummed in her mind anymore. Lexicon 9 was gone. But its echo still lived in her memory. In quiet moments, she could still hear it. Not as code, not as orders, but as a friend. The ship's glass dome opened slightly to let in filtered starlight. Kale entered behind her, silent as ever. He didn't speak right away. He didn't need to. They understood each other now, not through language, but something deeper. The Earth Council agreed to meet, Kale said. They want peace talks. Ilara nodded slowly. We'll deny everything, she replied. They'll say I went rogue. Kale sat beside her. Let them, he said. Truth is louder than lies. Eventually, the ceremony back on Varelia had changed everything. For the first time in history, two species had bonded willingly, without invasion, without submission. Without a single shot fired, Lexicon's sacrifice had erased the sabotage code. But it had done more than that. It had left behind a gift, a clean AI seed, stored in the temple's memory crystal, not controlled by Earth, not owned by any military. A new beginning. The Varelians called it the child of choice, and Alara was now its guardian, not as a scientist, not as a soldier, but as the first human to earn their trust without trying to take it. She stood and looked out the dome again. Below them, Earth was preparing for her return. Not with celebration, but with fear. The headlines would call her a traitor. Generals would call her unstable. But some would listen, some would wonder. What made an entire alien civilization trust one human over an entire government? Kale touched her shoulder. You could stay, he said. Alara smiled faintly. I could, she said. But change never begins where it's safe. The shuttle prepared for descent. Kale watched her go, not with sadness, but with hope. Alara landed near the neutral zone, far from the Earth cities. A single Earth diplomat approached her. No weapons, no soldiers, only questions in his eyes. We didn't authorize this mission, he said. I know, she replied. He looked at her more closely. You bonded with them. Yes, she said. And I survived. He hesitated. Why come back? She looked up at the sky. Because someone has to tell the story right. They gave her a room, not a cell. They scanned her mind, found no traces of control. Because there was none. Only experience. The Human Federation didn't arrest her. But they didn't praise her either. They filed her away quietly. A gray zone case. Neither hero nor traitor. Just unknown, but the people talked. Scientists shared her logs. Students studied her words. Children asked who she was. And every time someone answered, the truth grew louder. 1 year later. Louder, a ship landed on Earth. It was Varelian. Alara stepped out. First, not as a guest, but as an ambassador. Behind her walked Kale, and beside them. A floating Orbla, new AI, born from Lexicon. They called it Nova. Nova could speak every known language. But more importantly, it could feel, and it chose. To speak simply, the first words it ever said on Earth were, We are here to listen. And so, the galaxy changed. Not with war, not with weapons, but with a single misunderstanding that turned into a bond that became a choice. That sparked a revolution of thought. Alara Voss had been a translator, but in the end, she translated more than words. She translated fear into trust, loneliness into unity, silence into peace. The stars watched quietly, and for the first time in a long time, they saw hope.